Hello and welcome to this new football podcast. My name is Dan Elliott and I'm joined today with
Jake Moore.
Jake Moore, that's the one. So to start off with, this is, as I said, a football podcast, so based around current events, what we think of what's going on, and maybe things that not necessarily current, but things that have happened, and things that we just might want to talk about. So normal podcasting stuff. First of all, we're just going to go through who we sort of are. So, Jack, do you want to go first, or?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I've always been interested in podcasts and stuff like that. I've been doing blogging and football commentaries for 2 years now. So I started when I was 14, now 16, and yeah, I'm just getting into podcasts again.
Okay, so just so people have an idea of who you've had on your podcasts, which I'm a big fan of myself. Quickly, you can look at his podcast, so I'm sure he'll tell you about that in a second. But who have you had on your podcast? What sort of people have you had on there?
Well, anyone really. I mean, for my blogs, I cover non-league, cover the Conference South, specifically with Maidenhead United.
Okay.
So I get a lot of non-league players and managers on, but also I have had people like Adam Virgo, Martin Tyler, the Salford City manager as well. So
yeah, I see that.
There's not really a shortage of people, but
no,
yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good names to have, especially Salford City of how well they're doing. So that's cool. So obviously been doing podcasting for a while. Got a couple of high-profile names. So where can other people find your personal podcast as well? Where can?
Well, if you go to an app called Spreaker, just type in my name, Jake Moore, should come up. If not, you can just message me and then I'll send you a link.
Cool. And your Twitter is?
At Jake_Moore16.
And it's spelt like Bobby Moore for those wondering. So it's two O's in Moore. Just so we're all clear. Personally, for myself, I'm a football coach. I coach men's football. I coach kids football. So we're both involved in football to a certain extent. I volunteer at Millwall Football Club as well, which is a club I support. Volunteer there, so I help out with the pre-academy and I also help out with doing some underline stuff as well, which is quite cool. And I do some local coaching. So that's me in a nutshell. And I coach men's football, which is 7 acre and SIG Cup reserves. So big up to the boys there. And my Twitter is at Dan_nutrition. So you can find me on Twitter and you'll see what my profile is all about. So today we're going to be talking about, the Premier League, one of the best seasons I've ever seen as a fan, the Premier League. But after the Premier League, we're going to go into a little section which I want to do all the time. So every podcast, for the occasion that's coming up, for every weekend game, I want to do an accumulator. And the way it's going to work, whoever I have on the show. So today I'm with Jake, and I'm sure you'll be appearing loads and loads on these podcasts.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So, but we do want to get other guests as well, whether that be someone in non-league, someone professional, or even just anyone off Twitter. That's why we plugged our Twitters, so that if you are interested, you can always let us know. But want to have more guests on, so depending on the amount of guests as well, we'll do it. But I'm going to do an accumulator, and I'll put them on myself. And the way it'll work is I'll do, for all the Premier League games coming up on the Saturday, and Sunday, I'll do who I think is going to win on every game or draw or lose. And if that accumulator wins, I keep the money. I'll do one for each of my guests as well. If they win, money goes to them. And then I'm doing one through Twitter. So I've got, if you go onto my Twitter, which is, as I said, at Dan_nutrition, I've got 10 polls for all the games on Boxing Day. They've currently got half an hour left as we speak. So at the end, it will all be decided. And it's every game, and obviously that's decided by people on Twitter and people that have looked at it and voted. And I'll put that into accumulator. And if that one wins, I will donate it to a charity I'll post a couple of options on Twitter and people can choose on there. So, all good fun as well. Now moving on to the actual topics. I mean, the Premier League, best season I've ever seen. Entertainment.
Certainly agree, yeah. I mean, one thing that's, it's been commonly described as unpredictable. But
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I love seeing, despite following, I follow United, but despite following United, I kind, in a way, it sounds weird, but in a way, seeing them lose or not doing as well is quite nice to see. A change.
Okay, interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
if it's like nice to have teams such as Leicester, Watford,
Mm,
it,
up there.
up there. Yeah, it's
I think
nice.
I think for me it's brilliant because I can already picture next season as a Millwall fan going to Stamford Bridge. I can't wait. You know.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
you can always dream.
Yeah, I can always dream. We might get them in the FA Cup. We could have actually got them in the FA Cup last year as well, but we lost to Bradford. So, yeah, we'll leave that behind. But we'll talk about Arsenal. Start off with the A. Right, key player for them this year. I think I know who you're going to say, but go ahead. Key player.
Well, it's a no-brainer, really. Mesut Ozil.
Is it Ozil? Yeah, I agree. Okay. Why? What's he done this season? It's going to be quite obvious, I know. But what's he done? What's been so good about him this season?
Well, 15 assists by Christmas is quite an achievement. I mean, if he can go on and carry on that another 15 assists this season, take him up to 30 assists for the season, that's quite impressive.
Yeah, that would be. And so you said the other day about comparing him to how he was at Madrid and how he's been at Werder Bremen and Arsenal as well. What?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think personally this is his best ever season that he's played in football.
Well, he's near the peak of his career. I'm sure. I think he's about 28, 27. So I could be wrong.
20, 26, I think.
Well, I'm quite off the boil there, but he's getting to nearly his late 20s, you could say. So he's getting near his peak of his career. So hopefully he gets better and better, and obviously stays with Arsenal because obviously we want the best players in the Premier League. And as a neutral, it's great to watch as well. But I think, like I've always said this about Özil, and even Arsenal fans have disagreed with me, but he has the best touch I've ever seen in my life. The best touch. And I made that decision in the 2014 World Cup, but he has the best touch I've seen. It is literally like a magnet. But this season, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's come up. I don't know whether it's because all the bigger teams have slowly fallen down, and no disrespect, and I know teams like Leicester are doing very well, but the quality of lots of other teams are aiding him to go do better, or I don't know. Because I'm not slating anyone like Leicester or Watford or West Ham for being up there, but obviously it's still an obvious statement here. Massive difference between playing against, defenders at United, City, Chelsea, as bad as Chelsea are doing, but still difficult. Why do you think he's come out of his shell?
Well, I mean, what was last season? Last season, his first season at Arsenal?
Second. So this is his third season.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, like different players adapt at different times,
Yeah.
And I think now he's had a few seasons with the same sort of players. I mean, as you said to me earlier, well, you said to me yesterday, he doesn't really, Arsene Wenger doesn't really spend his money.
No.
So, I think he's had a few seasons where he can really gel with the players. And also, when you've got quality players like Alexis Sanchez, Olivier Giroud making the movement, it's going to make his job a lot more easier, really.
Yeah, of course. So obviously talk about their best player. Now, I'm going to be careful how I word this next one because obviously Arsenal second in the league. Who's been there, I'm going to say most disappointing or least effective, or however you want to interpret it. Who do you think's not been as effective as they maybe could have been, or in that sense, who do you think?
Most disappointing, obviously, you're going to say one of the injured, Jack Wilshere.
Okay, that's interesting. Why Wilshere?
Well, I mean, he's still, what is he now? 20. In his early 20s.
Yeah, we're good with ages, aren't we?
Yeah, he's still in his early 20s, and over the last few seasons, it's just been injury after injury after injury.
Yeah.
And a player of his caliber, if he had like one strong season, one injury-free season, he would be one of the England's best central midfielders.
Do you know? Because I remember a couple of years ago, I said Tom Cleverley will be better than Jack Wilshere because of his surrounding players, and technically that's true because he actually plays and Wilshere doesn't. So in terms of that, but for me, I think the most disappointing player, again because of injury, and it sort of started for me with the Community Shield against Chelsea. I mean, they had a great performance against Chelsea in the Community Shield, and Oxlade-Chamberlain was quality in that game, and I've been sort of waiting for him to really go on to. Obviously, he's an England player, so I want him to go do really well. But I thought this season might be a bit different where he goes on to excel. But for whatever reason, because of injury as well, but it's not quite happened for him. And that, for me, that's disappointing. And I'm sure for Arsenal fans, it's disappointing to see. But like that quality, like Wilshere, good, very good player, but that injury just stopping them from going on, obviously, to progress can be very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, injury is definitely something that holds back every player, obviously. But I think when you've got players like those two who are injured at the same time, I mean, it's got to be quite disappointed. Well, very disappointed if you're coming from an Arsenal perspective, anyway.
Okay, so now how would you summarise Arsenal's season? Because the way, obviously, we've been talking a lot about the Premier League past few days anyway, but and I'm going to say it's for Man City as well, but this surely, and you know what I'm going to say, is the best season surely for them to go win the league now.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, as I've said before, the fact that Chelsea, United, Liverpool as well, the fact that those three and like even more big clubs or challengers are slipping up, apart from Spurs, it's going to give them the best chance that they're ever going to get, I think, or ever going to get under Wenger anyway.
Okay, so with that being said, where do you think they'll finish then? So do you think they'll win the league, or will it be another top four standard having to qualify season for Arsenal?
I think just outside the top two, so third.
Okay,
I think.
Interesting.
What about you?
Honestly, I think it depends on Man City as well. I think they'll be in the top two. Not sure which, if I'm honest. I'd say, again, obviously we'll go talk about Man City, but if Man City can keep certain players fit, then I think they will. But Arsenal will be, for me, certainly in that top two. I don't think they'll slip away this year. I could be wrong, but I could maybe highly possibly be wrong. But because they could get Sanchez and Özil could break their legs in training, or you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so, anything can happen in football, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think they'll keep it up. I don't think they'll slip up too much. But there's not loads and loads of points between them and outside the top four, so who knows? So going on to a club, obviously we talked about the top. Now going straight down to the bottom. So Aston Villa. Hard question this. Who's been their key player this year? And that's it's difficult. It is difficult because obviously the predicament they're in, but do you know what? Not necessarily who's maybe played the best, but who's got them through or tried to get them through the difficulties they've got that they're in now. Because I've been trying to think.
I would say Mika Richards.
Okay.
I mean, obviously he is a centre back, so he has had a part to play in the amount of goals they've been conceding and the amount of disappointing results they've been picking up. But I think I think he's got a lot of determination. I think he's got a lot of leadership skills. So I think if there was one player that could help revive Aston Villa and help them maybe hope to stay up, then I think it will definitely be him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. I think it's a very hard bunch to pick out of, considering how disappointing they've actually been. But I think it's been coming for quite a while, to be honest with you. I mean, they've been sort of dangling around there for the past 2-3 seasons anyway. But yeah, I'd say Richards probably could. If anyone was to go bring them through, then yeah, probably them. But I can't see them getting out what they are. But who's been their worst player then? Or as I said with Arsenal, least effective? Who's been disappointing? like all these new signings that were meant to obviously replace Delph, Benteke. What's who's
Well, I mean, Brad Guzan, definitely. I
okay?
mean,
Yeah, I think he's up there.
although, well, I mean, I think one player who was brought in to replace help replace Benteke was Jordan Ayew. I think if he gets going, I think he'll be a great striker. But I think he's not really getting the service week in, week out.
Well, that's the thing because I mean, Ayew is their top goal scorer currently with four, I believe, 4 goals, which
Yeah,
for a top
4 goals.
goal scorer isn't a lot. Also means the goals are pretty spread about, I guess. But I've always seen Aston Villa, especially last season. I think Sherwood utilised them very well when he got there. Don't think he should have been sacked, personally. I think Sherwood made some poor decisions in terms of signings, but that could also be down to the board as well. So you don't. Sometimes a club signs someone and it's not necessarily the manager that signed them. So in a lot of cases it is. But as we've seen with Tottenham in the past, their board has signed a group of players, which is disgruntled management and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them was. But if it was down to Sherwood, I think he's made a big mistake by going fully French league players and bringing them in because we've seen how that's affected Newcastle, bringing in all these French players. It's just, I know it sounds a bit weird saying, French league players aren't good. Obviously, Ibrahimovic plays in the French league, Di Maria, these are all quality players, but unproven Premier League talent, played in a foreign league, have to adapt quickly after losing big players. I think if they kept those players and added them in, fair enough. But I think in the situation they was in, you need to get proven Premier League players. So cleverly, they missed out on big time. That would have been a key signing for them. Then trying to find some other proven Premier League players would have helped them go on a lot further, I think, or at least out the bottom three. But getting loads of inexperienced players, not knowing what it's all about, especially in the Premier League and the relegation fight, things like that, I don't think it's helped them at all. So
definitely not, no.
So that disappointed me a lot. But I think, as you said, Guzan's been very disappointing. Gested is a 50-50 for me because he did come from the Championship, so I didn't expect him to go score loads and loads of goals, but he's had glimpses of.
I mean, he reminds me a lot of Benteke, obviously, because he is the same as Benteke. He's a big lad.
Yeah.
But I don't think. Again, I think it's in terms of lack of service.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when I watched him for Blackburn anyway last year, I know he got a lot of service. He got a lot of goals from it as well. So I think if
clinical.
Yeah, if he gets the service, if both him and Ayew get more service, Villa will start to shoot up the table if they cure their defensive vulnerabilities. And
I also think now if they keep the majority of their squad when they go down, because I purely don't think they'll get out. I don't think they'll get off 20th, let alone
7 points. What is it? 7 points from 17 games. I don't think there's any coming back from that. But
I've had things where people go, but what about Leicester last year? And now look at them. But I think the difference between Leicester and, say, Villa this year is that Leicester's players last year, no disrespect, the majority of them were either part of Leicester for a while or was big player. So Cambiasso, big player coming. A lot of experience to bring him out of it. I know I said about foreign players with lack of experience, but the players Villa did bring in this season aren't as experienced as, say, Cambiasso and the other players that have been at Leicester for a season or two, or they're English, so they know they've got a good idea about English history. I don't know. I think that plays a big part. I guess it's down to opinion, but I just think it's a completely different situation. So I can't see them getting off the bottom. I think they'll go down, but I think they'll do very well in the Championship next year. Very, very well if they can keep their squad.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so moving on to a team I'm a big fan of, and I love their manager. It's Bournemouth. Best player this season. Who's it been? It's going to be a hard pick, but who has it been?
Definitely a hard pick. I mean, they've all, as you say, they've all had a massive part to play in their recent success. I would probably have to go for I don't know. I think Matt Ritchie's been decent.
Yeah. Matt Ritchie has been brilliant, but I think Bournemouth.
I'd probably go with Josh King, to be fair.
Yeah, he's got a hamstring injury at the moment. I'm a massive fan of Josh King, and I was quite happy when he scored against United. It's his old club as well, proving a point. Didn't get the chance he maybe deserved at Man United, but everyone's moaning this season. So West Ham, don't get me wrong, have had the worst injury, some of the really bad injury crisis this season, probably the worst. But a lot of clubs such as Chelsea saying, "Oh, we've got 2 players injured," or United, "We've got 2 players, company injured." Okay, big players, get that. But Bournemouth, fresh club, um, all their key players they signed. So Tyrone Mings, Callum Wilson, who's a massive player for them last season and this season. Obviously scored a hat-trick against West Ham. I said Tyrone Mings, didn't I? Sorry, Max Gradle, obviously out injured. Centre half, Max Amer. No, not Max Amer. That's a goalkeeper. Centre half, he's a very good player. Steve Cook's been out a bit as well at times, but in general, their squad they've taken a lot of hits as well.
Yeah.
And they've still managed to keep playing the way they play. So they keep the ball. Like they had 70% possession against West Brom on Saturday. That's a joke. And they've done things with it, of course. But when they can't control it, obviously against Chelsea massively dominated. We saw that quick attacking, obviously counter-attacking from Bournemouth with Josh King, even with Glenn Murray up front. Obviously, he's the one that got the goal as well. So I think hats off to Eddie Howe for keeping up that intensity. So your thoughts on Bournemouth this year?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I have to admit, because I think coming up from before they made all the signings, such as Tyrone Mings and Max Gradle, before they made all those signings, I thought, he's got maybe he'll like to bring in a few more faces, because I think he's got quite a tight squad going into this season. And
he did last season as well, yeah.
And I thought he's going to really struggle if he doesn't, use his money that he gets given. But I think he's used it wisely. He's got his players playing out with fluidity, with pace, as you say. And I think it's proven really effective, as you could see. Beating United and beating Chelsea, however bad those runs are that Chelsea and United are on, beating those two teams is a massive achievement.
Of course. Same sort of story as Swansea, on the brink of going down to the conference like 10, 12 years ago. And then they managed to get out of it, and now look where they are now. So, yeah, it's massive. I mean, they're above Chelsea as well. So, whether it be by one place or not, I don't think that's neither here nor there. If Millwall were above, United or Chelsea, whether it be mid-table or down the bottom, I'd be happy. So,
I'm sure you would.
Yeah, massively. So, will Bournemouth get relegated, or will they stay up?
I'll definitely stay up.
Stay up? Okay. I think once they get some more key players back as well, I think they'll go on. Right, the big one now. It's one of the biggest disappointments of the season. Obviously, I'm talking about Chelsea. Obviously, Mourinho getting sacked a couple of days ago, or a few days ago now. Still fresh. Obviously, everyone's still talking about it. What has gone wrong for Chelsea this year?
Well, as I've said before, the whole controversial, dismissing, if I can
dismissal.
Put it that way. Yeah, dismissal of Eva Cañero. I think that for her basically doing her job, that's lost a lot of faith in Jose Mourinho from players and fans. Although a lot of fans, I beg your pardon, have actually stayed with him, and
a lot of fans have, a lot.
But I think the whole incident with Eva did disrupt the squad harmony, as we've heard in the media that a few players have sort of turned their backs on Mourinho, and I don't think towards the end of his spell at Chelsea, I don't think the players, they didn't look like they wanted to play for him. They didn't look hungry. They didn't look like the old Chelsea that we usually see.
Well, I read something. It was today, or yesterday. So either very early this morning or late last night. I can't quite remember. But Mahrez, and obviously everyone was rating Hazard last year. How good Eden Hazard was. Obviously not doing as well this season. Poor body language. He just doesn't look like he wants to play at all. Actually, but as good as everyone rated him last season, Mahrez is now only 2 off his goal involvement total for last year. So I think
Yeah,
that just goals and assists, basically, put together. And he's only 2 off, and we're at Christmas. So obviously we're all going to Leicester, but as good as Hazard was last year, obviously he's not doing that well this year. How does that show that obviously teams like Leicester are doing now as well? Like that's really incredible. 2 off his whole season, and as highly as we rate him as well. I think it's incredible, surely.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, I think as I've said to many people, I think the thing that's giving teams like Leicester, Watford, Bournemouth, these sort of lower ranked teams, if you like,
Yeah.
I think the thing that's giving them the fight and the wins and the points basically is the fact that their managers Ranieri, Eddie Howe, and of course the manager at Watford. I think it's the fact that they're being told don't give up to the whistle. Don't stop playing.
You know, they
Keep
want
going.
to play for the club, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely get that. But so who? Because I've come up with not a theory. It's not a theory at all. But with Diego Costa now, I think English centre halves, such as Shawcross, Robert Hoof, uh, just normal, Premier League servants, know how to handle Costa now. Um, I still think if he was under, say Simeone, I think Simeone would always get the best out of him. So I think if Simeone came to Chelsea, I think Costa would easily get those 20 plus goals every year. But I think at the moment he's just in a massive, massive rut. He's, well, what can I say? What's the word? He's very, not childish, just, I don't know, when something slightly doesn't go his way, that's it.
He's very short-tempered.
Yeah, short fuse, short tempered. Yeah, so if something slightly doesn't go his way, his head's gone, and that's him out of the game already. And I think Premier League centre backs know how to do that to him now as well. But I think again, under the right management, under someone who knows how to control him, I think that it might be a bit different. So Chelsea for you this season, where do you think they'll finish roughly? I'm not saying they'll finish ninth, but a rough sort of guide.
I think just outside the Europa League spot.
So about 7th, 8th,
Yeah,
sort of, yeah.
8th, yeah.
I think that'd be a massive success technically for them this year. But what I would say is if they do that and Simeone does come in next year, and I think Simeone will come in next year, is that they'll go win the league next year for sure. Because I think Simeone will bring in a couple of big names. Not loads, but I think he'll bring in a few big names. I also think that because of the lack of European competition, because I don't think they'll win the FA Cup, I don't think they'll win anything else like that, or the Champions League, in that fact. I think they'll have, obviously, that break where they don't play midweek for the Champions League or whatever, will give them massive advantages. And again, very obvious statement to make, but Tottenham massively affected by it, and as well as they're doing, it's still massively hit them. They lost to Newcastle as well last week, and
Yeah.
for Tottenham, I was thinking, really, one of the most informed teams this season as well. So I think, provided that it could slightly be a blessing in disguise that they go win the league next year, but obviously it's not good to win the league and then go straight down to that, obviously. Now to a club flying high, and I made this joke yesterday, and it's not a good joke at all, but Crystal Palace. So they're incredible to watch, aren't they?
Definitely.
And that's coming from a Millwall fan, so that's genuine. But,
I mean, as I said to you yesterday, I mean, the squad depth is quite something. I mean,
yeah,
as I said to you, if they're playing one central midfielder for a game, say Jan Kabay, if he gets injured, they got Jedinak,
MacArthur.
I think you said one other as well.
I did, and He's gone out of my head. Joe Ledley. Joe Ledley, so I said.
Oh yeah, Joe Ledley. Yeah.
But yeah, obviously I said as well like how well balanced their squad is. I think their back four is very good. I think Hennessy has been, for me, he's not been their best player all season. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's been very good. Obviously, he's had a really good run in past 7-8 games. I'm sure that's or 8 or 9 now. He's made some amazing saves past couple of weeks as well. And I remember him at Wolves in the Premier League and thinking he's going to go off to do really well. And obviously didn't play in League One or the Championship for him and didn't really go quite well. Now he's getting his game time. He's performing at such high standards, and I'm quite worried now we've got Wales in the Euros as England, because I think we'll find it very difficult against Wales. Not only because of Hennessy, obviously they've got great players, Ramsey, Bale, Ashley Williams at the back. So, they've got a lot of good players there. It's just, and obviously Hal Robson-Kanu,
Yeah.
absolute amazing player. But, he's been quality for Palace, especially the past couple of weeks, and has got them so, I think Shane Long was one-on-one last week. Whole goal, Hennessy just pulled an incredible save out. Did it again this week as well against Everton. So, Everton? They didn't play Everton. Leicester played Everton.
Yeah, Leicester, yeah.
Yeah, Palace played Stoke away. And obviously Butland's making some great saves as well. But as you said yesterday, they're wide players. I mean,
it's fantastic. I mean, they got such great energy. I mean, I think when Zaha moved to United from Palace, I think that was always going to be a risky move. I think he moved for something like 20 million. So that's always a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And I think obviously it did. Obviously, as everyone saw, it didn't pay off for him. But I think as soon as he went back to Palace, Palace used him in the right way. He loves Palace. Palace is probably like his home.
It is, yeah.
But I think him and Balassi out wide are just something else.
And Sacco out wide is very good as well. Suarez coming up. Ward from right back as well. I'm a massive fan. Kabay. Pardew said the goal against Southampton that Kabay scored is little 1-2 by Zaha and Balassi. Balassi's played it in. Kabay tapped it in. But he said he sets up players in certain positions and doesn't want them to go out. Sort of like Guardiola's philosophy in a way. So, yeah, okay. Pardew is the English Guardiola, if you will. But, no, he said, I like to keep them in their positions. I don't like them to get too creative with it. Obviously, Kabay just went all the way into the 6-yard box and tapped it in. He said, but sometimes it's good to have players like Kabay who have that creativity that can go and score goals like that.
One thing I will say is, one thing that obviously came to mind is that Pardew actually worked with Kabay at Newcastle as well.
Yeah, of course.
So, those two working together, obviously, Pardew knows Kabay. Mm-hmm. Pardew knows how he's best used. He knows his strengths and weaknesses. He's using him in the right way, which is getting the best out of the whole team, really.
Yeah, okay. Will they finish top 4?
I don't think not top 4. I think I think they'll get Europa. I think they'll finish maybe 6th.
Do you know what? Obviously, they're 6th now. I'd actually quite like them to finish because it's something like 5th or 6th because it's a big difference. And I'd like to see a team like that, as painful it is to be Palace, but to go on and do that well. So yeah, very impressed with them this year, and it's nice to see, as I said, teams like that go on to do that. Team I mentioned a second ago by mistake, Everton. I'm a big fan of Martinez. Wish he sort of done better, but best player for me is Lukaku this season, or as tied with him and Ross Barkley. But thoughts on Everton this season?
Well, Everton definitely have got the quality to. I don't think they have the quality just quite yet to get top 4.
No, I don't know.
Obviously, just outside, I think maybe Europa League, definitely. I think, they've got the permanent signing of Deulofeu, who's been fantastic for them.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Barkley, ever present again. Romelu Lukaku banging in the goals again, which is no surprise, really. He's done it every season he's been in England.
Yeah.
But I think the whole team are capable of producing. I mean, keeping John Stones was a massive.
Oh, big time, big time. I
But
think because obviously Delafeu last year was actually rated in the worst team of the year in La Liga. So obviously some hopes went down in terms of how he was going to play. Lukaku got massively criticised last season. Barkley didn't probably have as a season as everyone expected. Obviously, so for me, those have been, with John Stones, as you mentioned, have been their three sort of key players. And I think that's quite an obvious, again, a big obvious statement to make. But I think it's actually because of, obviously, Delafeu rated in the worst team last year. So technically, no pressure to go on and do really well. Didn't have a big price tag either. So I don't think there's any pressure really on them as what maybe they have had in the past season or two. So I think that, I don't know. Ross Barkley's been incredible this season. I think Lukaku, he's on a 7-8 match scoring run now, I believe. Correct me.
8 matches.
8 matches now. So obviously, I think he's trying to break Vardy's record. Don't think he will, but I could see him getting very close to it. I like Lukaku. I don't think Chelsea should let him go.
Oh, definitely not. No.
I think Delafeu, obviously, he's never going to get into Barcelona, but great signing, as you said. And I think they have to get top four. I think they have to, because I think Lukaku, if he does get 20-plus goals again this year, why shouldn't he be at a top four club?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If he's proven that over 4 seasons, he deserves the right to go onto a big club. So, or not necessarily a big club, but someone in the top four. So Leicester.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
No,
well,
but
hopefully at the end of the season. I'd like to see Leicester as well, but anyway, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. So no, so would I. Sorry, something just dropped behind me. Scared the life out of me. Yeah, but Lukaku, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he went abroad next season. Like say Juventus, PSG. Your clubs like that. Unless Everton manage to get top four, and I know it's a big ask of him, but he deserves. And I'm not saying that if they don't get top four, he won't stay. But I think for his own personal development and whatever he wants to achieve, I think most top players want to go win the Champions League or play in the Champions League, and I think he has to do that soon.
You know what I've thought
Plus, is scoring loads of goals. So
I thought one thing I will add is I think, as you said, you can see him if Everton don't get top four. You said you can see him going abroad. I actually was thinking the other day, a move that might quite suit him is Arsenal.
Okay. Okay. No. I can see where you're coming from. Obviously, a lot of people moaning about not scoring enough goals and things like that. But Giroud's doing fine.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going by right now, obviously Giroud is doing great. I mean, but I personally don't think Giroud is consistent enough. I think he goes through I think he goes through patches of good form, and then like most strikers do. But with Welbeck being injured as well, the only other real first team striker, I think Lukaku would be suited to that move.
Okay. Fair, I think that's very fair. So, will they get top four? Yes or no?
I can't see it myself.
No, I can't either. So, going to a team in the top four at the moment, Leicester. Now, I don't think we've got enough time really to talk about how good they have been. So we'll talk about little bits. And if I'm honest, I don't really want to speak much about Vardy or Mahrez, as incredible as they've been this season. I don't think the rest of the players get enough limelight. And they always say much that, we haven't got enough time to speak about these players, unfortunately. And we don't either. But Kante, as you said, Drinkwater, brilliant. Wes Morgan, Robert Huth, Kasper Schmeichel, even Joao when he's played, I think has been very good. Okazaki has been very nifty, very hard-working player. I watched a lot of him in the German league as well. So what other players apart from them have really shone up, apart from Vardy and Mahrez?
Wes Morgan, Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Not just because obviously his dad's Peter, but Kasper Schmeichel is a fantastic keeper.
Oh, massively.
When I first sort of knew that he was playing for Leicester, and I watched him for a few times. I thought, oh, he's got a lot of expectation to live up to his dad's standards. But I think he has the ability to do that, and I think if he carries on at Leicester, I can't see him really being at Leicester much longer.
Okay.
If he has maybe another season or something, like he is now, then I think it will get prized away from the King Power.
Yeah. Okay. What about Kante's been exceptional, obviously, this season?
I would say signing of the season.
Yeah. Okay.
Along with Dimitri Payet for West Ham, but I think Kante, I don't know how much they got him for off the top of my head, but I assume it must be something quite cheap.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
But Kante, he's been fantastic. I mean, I've watched him for Leicester throughout the season, as many people obviously have, but he makes things for me look so much easier than they are.
Very hard working player, and he's a really gritty player as well when he needs to be, and I love that. Obviously, being a Millwall fan, I like watching players get stuck in, and in a good sense, obviously winning the ball to go play. I really like that, and he's very smart. I know that's, again, obviously he's a Premier League player. He's got to be smart, blah blah. But he's so intelligent with the way. So like on Saturday against Lukaku, match of the day, showed a great clip of where Lukaku was going away and he just wouldn't let him get past him at all. And I thought, as good as Lukaku's been this season, what a great job he's done. But saying that, if Leicester do get top four this year, and I think they will, I don't think they'll win the league. I think it'll be Man City or Arsenal, but I would like them to win the league. But I think they'll still get top four. So if they do get top four, does Kante, does Schmeichel, as you said, does Vardy and do Mahrez leave? Why would they?
If they get top four, definitely not. But
if so, can they add to that to then, I don't know, actually become a consistent top four club?
Oh, I think it's something, obviously it's down to what the board offer Ranieri for budget-wise. But I think, obviously, for any team who gets top four in the Premier League, I think it's going to be an attractive club to go to.
Yeah, of course. But on the flip side of other players going to go, well, Leicester done it once. Will they do it again next year? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a player in that position. But I'd love to see him become a top four club. And then in 10 years, when I get bored of them, I'd like to see Plymouth become a top four club, Things like that. It always be good to happen when, things like that happen. But I really want them to win the league. I just don't think they will.
No, I don't either,
No. Okay, so a team that's disappointed me a lot, and it's frustrating to say, Liverpool. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp managing there now. What do you make of Liverpool this year? Under Klopp and Rodgers, what's the difference?
Well, as I said to you yesterday, the fact that he was sacked after sort of 2 months into this season, I think the decision to sack him must have involved something from last season or something from...
Yeah, because it was quite soon in the season, yeah.
Or something from the summer or something like that. Or I don't know. Obviously, I don't know personally why they sacked him. Obviously, because it was bad results. But so soon, 2 months isn't exactly a long time when you think about it. But I think Klopp coming in, I think it's been up and down is what a lot of people would describe it. But I think once he has his first transfer window, so January, once he has budget to bring players in, his own players, I think, and he knows what quality is. He knows, what players will improve the team. And I think once he's had January, or if he doesn't spend in January, although I think he has to, but
massively.
I think if he doesn't, for some reason, spend in January, I think this next summer is going to be massive for him. And,
of course. I think, for me, the whole Rodgers downfall is the fact he built a near Premier League winning side. Obviously, unfortunately, Gerrard slipped. And I do say that with regret, because I actually quite like Liverpool as a neutral fan. So, I want them to win the league that year. Man City won it. I quite like Man City, so I don't mind that. But obviously, he had Suarez, Sturridge, and Sterling. Technically, he's lost all three. Obviously, Suarez off at Barcelona, Sterling, Man City now, and then Sturridge doesn't even get off the medical table. So he's lost all those goals have gone. And who did he bring in? Markovic?
Danny Ings.
Danny Ings. Again, I've got...
I mean, they're all good players, right? They're all good players, but for some reason, whether it's the way Brendan had them playing at Liverpool or whatever, it's not coming for them. But, I think, as you said, they've lost a lot of goals. I mean, you should have a look. I occasionally check the BBVA now. You just look at Suarez. Suarez doing his thing over at Barca now.
He's doing the thing, as people say.
Yeah. But, and obviously Sterling, he's had a few bad games in my opinion at City.
Yeah, but he's a young lad, and I'll come on to speak about. Do you know what? This is something I wish I said actually about Villa. Is Jack Grealish as well, and I put him in the same pot as Sterling because of their age. How can? And I know footballers don't have this choice about role models, but I've seen plenty of times League One, Championship, League Two players go out clubbing after a game, and I think they've played 90 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. Whether it's a health thing, I'm massively into health and fitness myself. But if I've played a football game, so if I've played a football game, I would, probably go out. I've earned a lot to go out and do that, and they're not old enough for me to be role models because they're still learning and they're not in that position to mentor people yet. I think players like Company, role model, but he's not done enough in the game and he's not old enough to be considered as a role model for me. And that frustrates me.
I mean, even though they are in the spotlight, they're professional footballers, there's going to be, Villa fans who adore Jack Grealish, like there is with any fan from any club. They're going to have at least one or two players who you absolutely love. But, I think they've just, as you said, they've just played a game. You're not going to, you want to enjoy yourself ultimately. And if going out with the team or going out with your mates is something that you want to do after a game, you should just be able to do it without, I think he's done this, he's done that, he's ended up lying on the road or whatever,
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate because he obviously is still a kid himself, he's still a teenager at 19. Or is it 20?
I've no idea. So.
Well, regardless, 19 or 20, he's still a very young footballer. So I don't think he can. And I put Raheem Sterling in that same bracket as well, of course. But obviously, going back to Liverpool, I think under Jurgen Klopp, I think they'll be title contenders in 2-3 seasons. Personally.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
With the intensity, the way they press, how they press, it's incredible to watch. I don't think they'll get top 4 this year unless they have some big changes in January.
January is, obviously, a lot of people notice January is probably going to be their, in a way, is going to be their defining month of the season.
Yeah. Because I think Jurgen Klopp can only take Brendan Rodgers' team so far because it's not Klopp's team yet. Until I don't think it can be considered his team for another year and a half anyway.
It depends what he does. It depends what he does in summer as well.
Yeah, obviously, if he wants to keep all these players, which I imagine he doesn't, then yeah, fair enough, his team. But he hasn't had enough time to implement what he wants. I think he's done very well at sort of getting across what he wanted. But yeah, as you said, January, big defining moment. Now to Man City. Obviously, lost to Arsenal, a big game the other night. Again, like Arsenal, surely this is their season to get another title on the board, no? Or it's got to be.
I mean, Company being injured. I mean, he's back now, but Company being injured for
crucial.
I think it was something like 6 games. He was something around 6 to 8 games he was out for.
I think it was 8 because they compared 8 games with company, 8 games without. So I don't know whether they put Champions League in there as well or what. But
Either way, I mean, company's massive for them. I mean, personally, I've said to many people, 30 million for Mangala is an absolute rip-off. If you look at the way he's been playing this season, he's not worth half of that, to be honest. But, I think company, once he's back, once he's got Aguero, is Aguero back fit yet?
I'm sure he's been fit. Well, yeah, he played on Monday. So
yeah, with those three, well, David Silva as well. I think they will stake a claim for the title. But if company does get injured again, if either of them three get injured, especially De Bruyne as well, I've been massively impressed with him.
Love De Bruyne. I love, again, another player Chelsea for me should never have let go. I mean, what a player! He created the most chances in Europe last season. I mean, I looked at it and thought, like, regardless of it being the Bundesliga or whatever, but Wolfsburg turned over Bayern Munich last year. Just saying, he was on fire last year, and I think he's continuing that this year. Although he had a bit of trouble with a corner flag on Monday, but I think he's quality, and I think those signings. So as you said, Mangala, not Otamendi, I thought was a very good signing.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
But signing, I think if you're going to get a player that's young and inexperienced, I don't see why they can't. They've got the state-of-the-art new youth facilities, such as Tottenham, but Tottenham bring through their younger players, or they buy younger English players to come through. So, and the reason why I state that English is because I don't know if people know. Obviously, Man City's an English club, so naturally. Surely we should be trying to, if we're going to spend all this money on buying young foreign players, why can't we spend more money on producing better talent over here in terms of our facilities, coaches, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, again, like City, well, to be honest, at the end of the day, I agree with you, especially that Chelsea shouldn't have let go of De Bruyne, but I was saying, despite his incredible season with Wolfsburg last year, when he came back here, when it was announced he was signing for City, I was like, will he have another flop season, or will he not get played again? Because they bought in Delph, they got Silva, they got Toure. I was like, will he play? But he fantastic signing, and so is Otamendi. I like Otamendi a lot.
Yeah, I like Otamendi.
It really depends on company, in my opinion, whether company gets injured again or not. But I think they will get top 4, definitely.
I think it goes without saying. I think they're a quality side without company, but with company, title-winning team, without top 2, top 3. So I'd say they're going to be in the top 2 of Arsenal. I think Leicester will be around 3rd and 4th. I don't think Leicester will be out the top 4, but I think they'll be around 3rd and 4th. But obviously the other Manchester team, Man United, the team you follow yourself. For me, I can't stand to watch Man United. I used to actually quite like watching United, but they're boring. It's slow. There's no goals. Now they're starting to leak more at the back as well. They're playing centre mids, centre half, left back, left wing. I don't know. They're playing. It's a shambles, if I'm honest.
It is, honestly. I would agree with everything you just said. I mean, Van Gaal, a lot of people have pointed out since he's been in charge, they've been comparing him to Ferguson.
I don't think there's a need to do that, but yeah.
No, but I mean, you see Ferguson when he was in charge, he would be up there not every minute, but a lot of the time in each half, he'll be up there on the touchline, on the edge of the technical area, shouting at his players to do this, do that, go, support your man or whatever. And Van Gaal, he just, whether he has his notes or not, he can't wait till half time just to say what he needs to say, because at the end of the day, like I said to you yesterday, if say Bournemouth they scored in the second minute, right? Scored in the second minute, so that means you've got 43 minutes of the game still to go, 1-0 down. You're gonna want to be up there shouting at your team to do the right thing, get back into the game and start, get it back to 2-1 or whatever.
Okay.
But
I think. Sorry to interrupt, but I just think that obviously different managers, different styles, and they work in different ways. And I get that Van Gaal
to be
isn't going
honest,
to be up all the time, and that might not work for every manager. But I agree when things aren't going right and you're losing to teams, no disrespect to Bournemouth, Norwich, these teams at home and away, you need to have someone to, bring it by the scruff of the neck. And whether a lot of people, obviously, I said this as well, that it had to be down to Giggs to go up, but maybe Van Gaal wanted Giggs to go up there. I don't know, or whether Giggs just took his initiative anyway, which I'm sure he would have done as well. And I think I like Van Gaal to an extent. I think it's frustrating because they're fifth in the league now, with the squad they've got and the potential to be. They should be really in the top 2, top 3, if used right. Depay, Memphis, great player, I think, or could be a great player. Mata, for me, brilliant. Jesse Lingard's been brilliant. Wayne Rooney can still be a quality player. Ashley Young's still doing very well. Like, I don't need to keep naming all these players. They're good players, good enough to, in this current season with teams like Chelsea slipping, good enough to be in that top 4 and good enough to be competing with Leicester, if you will. And it's frustrating to see Man United play that way, even as a neutral, because, you're used to seeing fast attacking football. And, I get that you want to slow the game down sometimes, and I don't see any problem with that. But when you're not creating any chances and you're not scoring enough, it's I think they're not using Martial to the best of.
Oh, definitely not. I think
and
I've seen the team sheet, especially on Super Sunday a couple of times, and they put Marshall out wide, Rooney down the middle. Whereas I think, to be honest, I think you should scrap Rooney for a bit, because if you look at his recent games, what's he done?
shots.
But honestly, I don't rate Rooney at all this year. And I think the way he should do it is put Memphis out on the left, Mata and whoever, Schneidlin or Schweinsteiger.
Midfield 3.
Yeah, midfield 3 of them 3. And then have Marshall playing down the middle. And then whoever on the right, maybe Mata on the right, or so he can cut in on his left or whatever.
Or Lingard,
Lingard as well, yeah.
So will they finish in the top 4? Or a better question, will they win the league?
Definitely not.
No? Okay, so top 4?
Unless, as I said to you, if Van Gaal gets sacked and if Mourinho comes in, as there's been a lot of speculation, I think if Mourinho comes in before January or in January, I think United could win the league if Mourinho can use the squad to the best of its ability, which Van Gaal clearly hasn't been doing.
Okay, interesting. All right, next club, Newcastle. For me, they do frustrate me a lot. I don't like Steve McLaren. I don't like him at all. I think their squad is full of players that are unproven at this level, or they're just bang average. And the only player that I think they added that's actually good and will have an effect is Wijnaldum,
Wijnaldum, yeah.
He's incredible as far as I'm concerned. But other than that, I don't think they've got anything. Like they loaned Cabella out. Okay, all right, fair enough. But then they brought in Tovan,
Tovan,
who's the exact same player as Cabella in terms of the way they play, the effect they have on a game. It's not a difference for me. I just don't like McLaren. He underperformed at Derby, so he gets a Premier League job, and he underperformed at England as well. So I don't see why they would trust him with that squad. Surely, I don't know who was available at the time, but I don't know. It just frustrated me. So for you, a short summary of Newcastle season, because I want to get onto a few of the other teams as well. Obviously, the first sort of 10 teams in that list are either doing really well or they're doing that bad. So there's a lot to talk about where I don't think Norwich, there's a lot to talk about there. But Newcastle, so what are your thoughts on them this season?
Again, because I spoke to you yesterday, and I said I think it's more to do with the club and Mike Ashley, and the club is the problem. I mean, as you saw, like Alan Pardew, he's doing a cracking job now at Palace, whereas when he was at Newcastle, he was forced out basically, and I think the same will happen to McLaren. But I think McLaren, despite my thoughts being that it's the club that's bringing itself down, I think McLaren definitely wasn't the right man for the job anyway.
No, I mean, like you said, I think it's the club in itself, the board, and I feel sorry for Newcastle fans because as a place, I really like Newcastle. I think the fans are excellent.
Oh yeah, definitely the fans are
And
brilliant.
they don't deserve that. If anything, someone like I'm not going to insult people's fans. Actually, there's no need for that because I'll get a lot of added on Twitter, and then people will start slating Millwall, and I can't bother for that. But I just don't. My point is, I don't think their fans deserve that. And I'm going to talk about Sunderland here as well because I think, in terms of the club, it's the same sort of situation where they've been down there now. Sunderland more so than Newcastle. Obviously, beat Newcastle each time they play them now. But what 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 has to change at both clubs in terms of the board? What has to change?
Well, I think
Is it the owner or is it the director of football? What has to give?
I think both really, the owner and the director and everything. In general, I just think both clubs are sort of being led into a ditch basically because they haven't been right for a few seasons. Like as I said, I used Pardew as an example, and I'm going to use another example for Sunderland. I believe it was Di Canio, who was manager not long ago.
Yeah,
and he's a great manager in my opinion. He did really well at Swindon, was it?
yeah.
Yeah, but
What I would say quickly about the Canio is, I mean, I know someone that works at a football league club now. I won't say which one, and he's worked with Poyet in the past, and rumours coming out, and it's not just coming from that. I heard it from there originally, but I've also read it a lot as well. That the Canio made black players do extra running. Apparently quite a highly racist man anyway. Obviously, we've seen pictures of him doing neo-Nazi things. So I think for that on itself, he doesn't deserve to be managing in the top flight of English football because I think it's a disgrace in itself.
oh yeah. I mean,
But in terms of football,
in terms of managerial
okay,
ability,
yeah, I don't. I agree in that respect. But as a person, I can't have him anyway. I know a lot of West Ham fans would disagree, but there you go. But then again, okay, so it might be the club, and I personally think it is. And I think it's the same at Charlton at the moment. Obviously, I'm not going to speak about Charlton; they're not in the Prem. But or is it the recruitment of players and the managers themselves? So obviously, if say I don't know, Paul Clement went to Newcastle, would things be different, or something like that? So is it the recruitment side of things, which in that case is still the board? Yeah, that's still the board though, and partly the manager for players as well, obviously. Where do you think? So Sunderland and Newcastle, will they both stay up, or will one go up, one go down? What's your thoughts?
I think Newcastle stay up, and Sunderland down.
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle. I think they'd be very close to going down, unless they obviously sack McLaren sooner, because I just really don't like him. So those are your thoughts on them. The reason I didn't really want to touch on Sunderland is because my thoughts and what I wanted to speak about them was the exact same as Newcastle, just in terms of the board and that sort of situation. Okay, a club now, Norwich. Obviously beat United at the weekend. Very well done on that.
Definitely.
For me, they're just going to be either just above the relegation zone or just a bang average West Brom side. By that, I just mean no real effect. They get a good result every now and then, but they're just quite boring to watch, and I,
And
I don't enjoy watching Norwich as much.
neither do I. I mean, I think, I think personally, I think they'll go down this year. And
Okay.
for the long term, I think, or for I don't know, next couple, maybe 3 seasons, I think they'll be sort of a yo-yo club. So basically, keep going
Yeah,
down, keep
up
coming
and
back
down.
up.
It's all right. I know what Yo-Yo Club is. I'm a Millwall fan, so that's that's why I understand what that term is. Yeah, because they've done it before when they went all the way down to League One, like Southampton, come back up, went down, come back up again. So it's frustrating when you see clubs like that. Obviously, Birmingham used to do that. West Brom used to do that quite a lot as well. Um, but what what do they need then for you to get out of that bottom three? What do they?
I think it's. I think they just. To be honest, I don't know because I like a few individual players like Bassong,
Redmond.
Jerome, Redmond. Yeah, I like the individual players. I just don't think. I don't enjoy watching them as a team. There's something about them.
Yeah, I personally, I just don't think their squad is good enough anyway. I think, as I said, they'd be either just above the relegation zone or they'll somehow just get 14th, 15th. But if other teams recruit well in January, I could 100% see, well, not 100, but I could see them going down. Talking about going down, Swansea. Now, as this is one of the teams I referred to as if they recruit well. What their squad for me has turned a bit average, a bit too average. Whereas obviously Leicester have got a lot of players on form. They've brought in Inla, Kante, and I know they're not massive name signings, but obviously they've kicked on and done very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the loss of Wilfred Bonny is, you know, they've lost basically. They've lost the goals. I mean, I know Gomes has done all right for them this season, but you know, he's not. Again, he's not getting.
Consistent.
Yeah, he's not getting the service every week. He's not putting chances away every week. You know, that's what Bonnie did for me.
I think.
And
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And obviously, when Ayew and Gomez were scoring a lot, obviously it was looking very good for him. And I am with high sincere, I really wish Monk didn't get sacked. I'm a massive Monk fan, and I think obviously they were in a rut, but I think he would have turned it around.
oh yeah, Gary Monk. I really enjoy Gary Monk as a manager. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him big time. So, hopefully he gets another job soon. Hopefully the Newcastle job, or the Chelsea job next year. Who knows? No, but on a serious note, I think I don't want Swansea to go down because I like their brand of football and I like the way they played. If the next manager comes in, I think if they were to get the Chile manager, I don't know, I can't remember his name. I think they'd step and do very well. But I don't want to see him go down. I'd rather Norwich go down than Swansea. But can't always have who you want to stay up. But do you think they'll stay up?
I can't see it. No.
No? Okay, so you've got them and Norwich to go down and Sunderland. So that's your bottom three. Sunderland, Norwich and Swansea, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so far I've gone with Sunderland, most likely Norwich. Again, Swansea will be up, will definitely be there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle would down, possibly get relegated, or even Southampton. And speaking of Southampton now, I do feel sorry for Southampton in terms of obviously they had a lot of good players, they built on it, and they lost a lot of players last year, but still managed to obviously do very well. Again, is it where their best players are being nicked that they've just suffered, or what's been there? I mean, they're mid-table, so not really doing that bad, but...
No, I mean, I think they've got the individual quality.
Mm.
You know, the individual quality is definitely there, but I think they could do slightly a bit better than they are right now. But
I do like Koeman, and I think whoever goes, I don't think he will get sacked, but I've seen some talk on Twitter. Obviously, you're always going to see things on Twitter. People go, "Oh, he's going to get sacked," or "I want him to get sacked." I think Southampton are so good with their recruitment and in terms of play. Well, more managers and coaches and players, but I think the biggest problem for them this year is that obviously they had Klein last season and Bertrand, a great full-back partnership. And now with Cedric at right back, or sometimes they play three at the back now, which I find a bit strange. And I don't like in the Premier League. I think it's a good system in, say, Italy. Juventus play it very well. I don't think it works in England, though. I don't think they've got enough pace now going forward, so their game's a lot slower. And obviously, as we've seen with Bournemouth, and the game's now getting to that point where, okay, you can control the game, like Chelsea done against Bournemouth, but now it's more about counter-attacking, quickly going forward, and really punishing other teammates. Whereas a lot of time we've seen with Barcelona, who do it very well, will find pockets, but obviously they've got the players to do that. Whereas Southampton, whenever they do it, they haven't got that quality to go and do that. So, and they've lost all that energy going forward. I think anyway. So, what are your?
Definitely not going down.
No, I don't think they'll go down.
I'd say top 10, but I don't know where.
Okay, I don't think they'll get in the top 10. I think they'll be in the bottom 10, but I don't think they'll be. Depending on if Koeman ever got sacked this season at whatever point, or I don't know whether they lost someone in January or lost someone to injury, whatever, they could possibly go nearer to the bottom. Not 20th, I mean around that bottom three.
Yeah.
But I think they'll be around 12th, where they are now, 11th, 13th, that sort of place. Now going into a club I really like, Stoke. Arnautovic. Butland, Bojan, Mame Brian Diouf has been very good. Obviously, Peter Crouch for the robot. How can you not? Jeff Cameron been very good this season. Shawcross again, another big name. Again, they're 11th. They're not necessarily that far off European places though. In terms of points. So,
if I'm honest, they've always been like that. You know, you see where they've ended up. Over the last few years, they've always been sort of that 11th, 10th sort of that sort of place. But I think now they've got the quality. One thing I wasn't a fan of, I never used to be a fan of Stoke, right? I always hated the fact that they would do this long ball. They would always try and hope that Crouch would win the header and, and they would end up losing it sometimes. But now they've got players like Bojan, Afellay, as you said, Diouf, who can spray it out wide, put it in the box, on for Diouf or Peter Crouch. You know, I think now it's more direct in a way, and on the floor football, which I like to see. And I think Stoke could maybe finish 8th, to be honest.
I think that'd be quite good. I think obviously with Shaqiri as well. Again, another great player. Butland.
Great keeper.
What an amazing season he's having. And obviously it's good for most of us, most of us are English fans, I would have hoped. So going forward for the Euros, do we give Butland a chance or do we stick with Joe Hart? And obviously Joe Hart's an incredible keeper, and I'm not denying that, but
I would give Butland a chance, to be honest.
Against maybe someone like Russia or...
Russia.
Against Slovakia, one of them two.
Either
I always get confused. And obviously Wales being the other team. But Stoke, so you reckon just top table? Top half, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Top half.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck up a bit higher. Right, West Brom. Not a big fan of West Brom, to be honest.
Neither am I.
I think they're boring. I like Pulis as a manager because in terms of I don't think West Brom will get relegated. I don't like how they've handled Berahino at times. I think if he wanted to go to Tottenham, I think he should have been allowed to, because I think if you keep denying a player of something they want to do, then why would they perform at a certain level?
Definitely.
That's only one argument. Obviously, there's loads of different arguments to it, and I haven't seen what his behaviour is like at West Brom, so I can't really add on that. But it would have been nice to see him go to Tottenham for me. West Brom need him, I think, in terms of.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Ricky Lambert.
They've got Rondon, but again, he's not really proven, is he?
Well, he's got himself sent off for saying stupid at the weekend against Bournemouth. I'm not talking about him. I don't like him at all. He discussed disgusts me as a player, so don't like him. But yeah, Rondo obviously got silly foul, headbutt and kick that he did. But it just bore me as a team. Like it was like Stoke a couple of years ago, and it's just hoof into the box. And yes, it can be effective, and obviously that's all that matters in the grand scheme of things, that they get points on the board. But I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they'll go down, because I think they're good enough to stay up, but they're nowhere near good enough to get in the top half.
I would say 16th. Right?
Such a random position. But yeah, no, I think that'd just be a boring mid-table side again. And you have to have those teams in the Premier League, because not everyone can be incredible. And I'm not saying that. And they are effective. West Brom, obviously. Results this season, obviously against Liverpool as well. So I'm not saying for that. I just personally, as a neutral, watching them, like I guess a neutral watching, say, Millwall could probably be quite boring, I guess, or Reading, for example. So I'm not completely slating them. It's just as I said, as a fan, it's a bit boring to watch. Okay, so we'll finish off with 3 more clubs now, all London clubs, arguably. First one I'll talk about, Spurs. Love their intensity. Love Pochettino, Eriksen, Kane, Lamela, as you've pointed out. Dele Alli, Eric Dier, what a partnership in midfield. Alderweireld, Hugo Lloris, their team, basically.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
The team, yeah.
How far can they go this season?
Oh, they could get top 4, to be honest. Top 4.
Yeah.
I can't see them winning the league, but not yet anyway. But I think Pochettino is going to lead them on to top 4. I think 3rd. Or actually, no. I think they'll get top 4, the 4th spot, I reckon.
I think they'll get 3rd or 4th, with Leicester being the other. So I think it'd be Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Leicester in that top 4. I think they'll have a good go at winning it next season. I think they're a very good side, and I think they're only going to get better. I've got nothing but good things to say about Tottenham. I think their whole squad's just been very good this year. Eriksen obviously proving how good he is after coming from Ajax. Lloris, top keeper. I think Pochettino's now got rid of the deadwood. I think he's now got his own style of play that he had at Southampton, and it's all clicking for him at the moment. And they've been they hold the record for being the longest team without losing, which was 14 games, I believe it was, in the Premier League. So that's very good. Harry Kane has got 10 goals in his last 9 or 10 games now. So, again, doing very well. Other little bits about Tottenham. What do you think?
To be honest, I think you're spot on with what you said. The only thing I'll add is I think we'll get top 4. I think they'll get the 4th spot of the 4. And I think Pochettino is the right man for the job, and I think
100%.
Yeah, I just think they'll go on to have a cracking second half of the season.
No, I don't think there's anything else to say about them, about how good they've done and how well they can do. So, big praise for Tottenham this year. Watford. Now, speaking of Tottenham, that Deadwood, Etienne Capoue. Proven himself this year to be, and Gomez as well. Gomez is the top clean sheets in the league at the moment. So, what a turnaround to be both Tottenham flops to now, obviously performing.
Oh, definitely, well. Yeah.
And go on, I'm going to let you speak about your 2 favourite Watford players. You go.
Troy Deeney and Nick Harlow. Easily my favourite. Definitely my favourite partnership in the Premier League this season. In saying that, obviously, as you pointed out to me, Mahrez and Vardy are a partnership. But, I mean, strike force.
Yeah, technically striker. Obviously, we know Mahrez is a winger. I'll let you off with that one. It's fine. I'll let you have that.
But, just the fact they have such a great connection, such a good understanding between each other. And it just shows on the pitch. I mean, Icarlo against Liverpool with different class.
Oh, he was brilliant. But also, again, they're sort of like Leicester, where they've got a lot of unsung heroes, if you will. And I don't know their full squad, to be honest, because at times they're too foreign for me to say their names, and and I'm not digging about. I like watching them play. They're very entertaining to watch. I think even when they lost 3-1 to Arsenal, I believe the score was, they played very well until Arsenal had a 15-minute spell where they just went and scored 3 goals. So again, I think they'll do very well. I think it's nice to see a club only 1-2 points off the top 4. Don't think they'll get top 4.
Oh no, definitely not. But I can't see them going down either.
No, I think they'll be strong 7th, maybe. So just missing out Europa League, which would be an incredible season.
Yeah, definitely.
So where do you see Watford ending this year?
I wouldn't say 7th.
Okay.
I would say top 10. I would say 9th.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's a top 10. Okay, that's fair. All right, so the last club we'll talk about, and I guess as a Millwall fan, it's always hard. But I'm a massive football fan, so I'm not as biased as maybe some people think. West Ham. All I will say is that I do feel sorry for the fact that all of their key players, apart from Adrian, who I rate very highly, I think he's the bargain of the century. To be honest with you, all their key players injured, all of them.
Yeah,
and I don't know what to say. I think they've had the worst injury crisis out of anyone this year. So.
Yeah, but I think once all of those, everyone's back. So Reed, Payet, Lanzini, once they're all back, I think they'll go on to have a flying season. And they're still, what are they, 8th?
They're 8th, yeah. They're 8th. But you said, and we've had a lot of conversation about the Premier League anyway, past few days, but they've had 3 0-0 draws in a row, yet they're still only 3-4 points off the top 4. Like that's pretty good, to be honest with you. So even without all that going on for them, they've still managed to keep some sort of position for themselves. And I think when Payet does come back and Lanzini, they can still, I think they'll get top 10 all day. All day.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
On their day, a very good team to watch.
I think once everyone's back and they start getting back into, the swing of having Payet back and everyone, I genuinely think they could get top 4. But...
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. But that's a massive but.
Okay. Could you see them getting 5th or 6th then? Because I could. Yeah. Once everyone's back.
But fourth as a max. I don't think they'll go 3rd, 2nd, or 1st.
No.
4th is like a max. I definitely think they'll go 6th, maybe.
I think West Ham will eventually be, and as much as it pains me to say, but my best friend's West Ham, and I've got really good friends that are West Ham anyway. But with the Olympic Stadium coming, big capacity.
Oh, that'd be massive.
Them challenging now for Europe. The attraction of players, obviously Payet becoming was massive in itself, but I can see West Ham going on to do very well in Europe as well. In the next
definitely,
5-10 years as well. And that's enough praise for West Ham. I'm not giving them more than that. So I'll give them enough there. But now we're coming on to a very special part. If you have listened throughout all of this, fair play, and my hat goes off to you. But the Premier League's always interesting to listen to. So now we've got our accumulator section, and I'm sure all the voting has finished.
Should be, yeah.
I'm going to tell you who I think's going to, what the results would be. And I've put my bet on already, but I'm going to put the others on as well. Just got to log into my account. I've done the returns. I'll tell you how much the returns are for mine. So, and I'll put in the other ones later and I'll put them on Twitter. Right, so my one, I've gone with Stoke to beat Man United, draw for Aston Villa West Ham, Palace to beat Bournemouth, Chelsea to beat Watford, draw with Swansea West Brom, Man City to beat Sunderland, Tottenham to beat Norwich, Everton to beat Newcastle, Southampton to beat Arsenal, and I've gone with a draw in the Liverpool-Leicester game. Now, the returns are £4,500, so not terrible. I'm going to go through the games. So Stoke Man United, who do you feel?
I think that'll be a draw.
Draw, okay. Villa West Ham.
West Ham.
Bournemouth Palace.
Palace.
Chelsea Watford.
Watford.
Ooh, big. Swansea West Brom.
Swansea.
Again, decent. I'm not going to say Man City, son, and obviously you're going to say Man City. I would hope.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Tottenham, Norwich,
Tottenham,
Newcastle, Everton,
Everton,
and Southampton, Arsenal,
Arsenal,
Liverpool, Leicester.
Leicester.
Oh, big, big. I think that'd be about a £5 return. Actually, I think it comes out as. Right, now on to well, if you voted and now you're listening, your choices. If not, then it will just be, well, Twitter's choices, I guess. So we'll go through each one. They are officially all done as well. So the winners are, so you all think Stoke are going to beat Man United. Interesting. The majority think West Ham will beat Villa. The majority think Palace will beat Bournemouth. The majority thinks Chelsea will beat Watford. The majority think Leicester will beat Liverpool as well. Nearly everyone thinks Man City will beat Sunderland.
That's a no-brainer, really.
No. Most people think it will be a draw in the Swansea-West Brom game. Most of you, again, think Spurs will beat Norwich. Nearly all of you are saying Everton to beat Newcastle. A large amount are saying Arsenal against Southampton. And that's all the games. Yeah. So I will put them on and I'll post them on Twitter. So at Dan_nutrition to find them. And you've also got Jake's Twitter, which is
at Jake_more16.
There we go. This has been longer than what we probably will do. I think we try and aim for about an hour. But obviously, when you're talking about every team in the Premier League, and then you're doing this, and then we've got the intro to who we are, what we do. It's always going to go on for a while. But I do appreciate that you listen to it. Obviously, you can listen to this in segments. You might listen to it half hour, or 20 minutes, whatever you want to do. I'll probably listen to it Christmas morning because I need to listen to something football every day. Massively thanks for coming on as well, Jake.
That's all right, my pleasure.
And I'm sure we'll do a lot of,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, check out Jake's podcast as well. They are very interesting. He's got some good interviews with people in there as well. As I said, though, thanks for coming on and thank you for listening as well. We will update you. I'm not recording on Christmas Day. We are actually recording on Christmas Eve. So, working to the get-go, obviously. But thank you for watching and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Love that. Yeah. See you later.